second, Mr. De Silva. Okay, agenda questions. Please limit your questions at this time to resolutions under new business on this agenda. As a matter of fairness, you are asked to limit your questions to no more than one and your remarks to no longer than 3 minutes. If you are here representing a group, please identify yourself, the group, and your position in the group. If you are here as an individual, please give us your name and address. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. Please specify the resolution you are referring to in your question. Happy New Year, Mrs.
Happy
Lockbauer.
New Year. Evelyn Lockbauer, 43 Dunderhead Place. I just wanted to know if you received any applications for the board member that resigned, if you received any yet or not.
Well, come on. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We did. We received one.
Okay.
The closing date is Friday.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. Dr. Schoen, the report, please.
The report I have this evening is to welcome new board members, wish you well. It is a great team, and to wish everyone else a very happy New Year. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Leaper.
I echo Dr. Schoen's comments. Welcome everyone and Happy New Year.
Thank you. Mr. Fair.
Sure.
Johnson.
Welcome. Also, I wanted to highlight on agenda 11A, I just wanted to publicly thank Mary Sue Maloney for her 14 years of service as an instructional paraprofessional. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to welcome everyone, say Happy New Year, and welcome to the new board members and the former board member who's new again. Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you. And I also wanted to thank Mr. Rob Sen, the Executive Director of the Gibson Foundation, for approving a grant of 4 Les Paul electric Epiphone guitars and guitar cases to be used by the MAHWAH Township Public Schools Jazz Program. Just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
If I can just jump in for 1 second, John Pascal was instrumental in forming that partnership and carrying it through, so we have these jazz guitars. So
Thank you. Okay, old business, may I have a motion to move on the minutes? Mr. De Silva and Mr. Gallo, second. Any discussion on this? Any comments? Roll call, please.
Mr. De Silva.
Yes.
Mr. Denise.
Yes.
Mr. Gallo.
Yes.
Ms. Conoco.
Yes.
Ms. Mavritish.
Yes.
Dr. Morthy.
Yes. Or abstain?
Abstain.
Yeah, okay,
Well,
abstain.
well, Ms. Mavritish, I'll change yours to abstain.
Yeah, abstain because we didn't
You weren't
see the
present.
minutes.
And Mr. Wojciechowicz.
Abstain.
And Ms. Barrett.
Yes. Yes. Can I have new business? I'd like to take 10A through K. We have a motion to proceed on that. Mr. Denise, second by Mr. Gallo. Any comments or discussion? Yes.
Explain C, field trips. What type of field trips are they? The reason I'm asking is because you have Joyce Coomer listed as 7 high school kids going there, but yet you're still on school property. Why are they listed as?
They're just traveling from their home school. I've always done that, Mr. Hendricks.
I don't remember that. But what is the purpose of this?
Where do you see JK on here?
Page 10.
No, I'm on page 10, 14.
Joyce Keller, 4th one down.
Oh, I'm on high school kids going to Joyce Keller. Yeah, well, high school kids going to Joyce Keller. So why are they on the list?
Do you know, Peter, I don't know the answer to that.
I'm
I can
sorry.
get it to the board tomorrow. I anticipate that this is something that happens annually, whether or not it's band students or, I don't know, so I'll be more than happy to find out without. Will that work?
That's fine.
Okay, I'll tell you tomorrow. I'll tell the whole board tomorrow. You're welcome.
Yes.
I think I need to abstain on check number, is that here?
The check number for your fingerprinted?
Correct, yes, okay. So 084794, dated 12/21/16.
When we ask for the roll call.
Okay, I'll
just
abstain then on that
Yes.
particular one.
Thank you. Yes. Mr. Denise?
Yes.
Mr. Gallo?
Yes.
Ms. Conico?
Yes.
Ms. Maverich?
Yes.
Dr. Morphy?
I say yes, but abstain?
Abstain.
Okay. Yes, but I abstain on check number 084794.
Mr. Wondrikowitz?
I abstain on A, D, E, I, done, and J. The rest are yes.
That was A, D, E, I, and J?
A, B, D, E, J, and, I'm sorry, I and J. I and J.
Yes on all others, thank you. Ms. Barron?
Abstain on those.
Yep, abstain on those, yes on the others.
Yes.
Ms. Barron?
Yes. Okay, I'd like a new business personnel. I'd like to take 11A through G, if I could. May I please have a motion to proceed, Mr. Wondrikowitz, and a second, Dr. Murphy. Have any discussions or comments on any of these items? I'd just like to, again, I'd like to say thank you to everyone who's volunteering, some school volunteers. I'd like to thank them for volunteering their time. Would you like to take a roll call, please?
Of course. Mr. De Silva?
Yes.
Mr. Denise?
Yes.
Mr. Gallo?
Yes.
Ms. Conico?
Yes.
Ms. Maverich?
Yes.
Dr. Morphy?
Yes.
Mr. Wondrikowitz?
I'm going to abstain on B, C, F. The rest are yes.
And Ms. Barron?
Yes. Public questions or comments. This section of public participation will be limited to 15 minutes. And please come to the microphone and state your name and your address, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Mary Alice Silva on Morris Avenue. The reason why I'm here is on November 1st, our daughter received a serious injury during the MAHWAH High School varsity girls soccer game. To try to make a long story short, she had a skull fracture, a 6mm indent to her head. You know, during this whole process, we spoke to Mr. Pelletier. How can we make our kids a little safer during these, you know, soccer is a high impact sport just as much as football, with no padding or anything else. So, you know, we have a part-time trainer. We have one part-time trainer for all the kids in our athletic program at the high school. That doesn't seem right. And he wasn't prepared to handle the situation. When Michelle was coming off the field, I thought she had a stroke because half her face had collapsed. You know, it ended up being a skull fracture and no bleeding to her head, thank God. But how do we have a part-time trainer for all the kids in our program? It doesn't make sense. We did speak to Pelletier, like I said, but where do we go from here?
Let me first by saying, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that your daughter is recovering. The board was aware. As injuries on the field, I do my very best to keep the board in the loop. And I'm glad that she's on her way. I know that you have had discussions with Mr. Pelletier.
Yeah.
We're in the process of budget formulation for next year, and it's one of the things we're going to be discussing with Mr. Pascal in regard to whether or not we remain at a part-time, which is not atypical of high schools.
Yeah.
A lot of high schools do,
Yes.
so it's not like we're the only one out there. That doesn't make it right. It's not an excuse. But I think that we'll look to see whether or not a part-time, going to a full-time is in certainly our best interests, and whether or not we can put that into our budget.
As well as multiple. I mean, when my daughter was injured, he had to leave her in the trainer's room with me. You know, I was definitely freaking out a little bit.
I would have been too.
And, you know, he had to attend to other kids that got injured during that same, and I'm not blaming him at all. He was doing his part.
We have a very robust athletic
Yeah.
program, and soccer, you're right, like football, and we have a lot of sports like that, right? Lacrosse can be high
Lacrosse
impact,
as
it can
well.
have, sure, can
Mhm.
have a lot of injury. So it is something that we've already started to discuss with Mr. Pascal, and we'll continue that and make our recommendations to the board.
Okay,
But it is something that's in discussion.
okay, thank you.
Thank you for
Thank you
being
very
here.
much for coming to the microphone.
Evelyn Sockbauer, 43 Thunderhead Place. I know that like the ambulance is here for games and everything. Would it be effective to have some type of EMS personnel, you know, I guess available, you know, they don't have to be a full-time person, but who would be available during practices for these programs?
I don't know, Mrs. Slockley, it's certainly something that we can talk to Mr. Pelletier about. We've always operated well, and the EMS has always been extremely responsive when we've had injuries
Yeah,
that
I know
were
how
here.
responsive they can be, believe me.
Well, yeah, and they can be, and the other thing we need to be considerate of is although we have many students on the field, we have a whole community too that relies on those EMS people, so.
No, I know, but there are some students who are EMS people, and it may be some kind of additional community service that they could provide in addition to, not the town EMS, but having, you know, like you'd have a police officer assigned to an event, you know, having a person assigned.
I understand what you're saying, having a police officer assigned to an event to make sure that people are doing the right thing is a little bit different than a student who is an EMS person treating one of our students on our grounds and the insurance coverage with all of that. Do you know what I mean? So it gets a little interesting with that.
Okay.
I think the full-time trainer consideration is something that we need to seriously entertain, and it's something that's already started.
Additionally, all our coaches are required to undergo safety training and AED training, so they're not totally without some kind of precautions for the child. Your injury is serious, there's no question
Very
about
much
it.
so.
But our coaches are trained to handle minor safety issues, so we're not
As
leaving the
well.
kids totally
It's a very
unprotected.
good point, Peter. Thank you.
Hi, Brooke Gaslow, 552 Adirondack Court. I just wanted to please implore the new board, whoever works on negotiations, to please try to work hard to get our teachers a contract. They're very deserving and hardworking, and they really deserve the best.
Without a doubt, Ms. Castle.
So,
Happy New Year.
This
Thank
new
you.
board as they come together to do something. Thanks.
Thank you.
If I may, read everything. As a follow-up to Peter's question in regard to the JK7 students, the French National Honor Society are coming to talk to our kids about language selection at the middle school. We're just interested in raising interest in those programs, so that is why they're going there, Peter. And I think it's just because they're leaving their house that we put them on an agenda. Good?
Thank you.
You're welcome very much.
Just, it's a language program, not just the French.
Yes.
Hi. I'm Lynn Mornowak-Fold, MAHWAH High School choir director and music appreciation is a long time ago. AP Music Theory, that's what I do now. Yes, that's definitely what I do now. I wanted to share with you, and my phone just of course turned off, a really great quote that I heard this fall that is food for thought for everyone as we go into the new year. And I also wanted to wish Happy New Year to many of the friends that I have on this board. The quote that I heard this fall that I pulled over to the side of the road to make sure that I got it down when I heard it on the radio was, "History is made by realists not afraid to dream." Let me say that again. History is made by realists not afraid to dream. And I know that there are real issues that you have to deal with as a board, but I hope that you are not afraid to dream of a school system where, again, all of the teachers feel supported and like family. Because that's the district that I was hired into 20 years ago. I was family. And it's really pained me to see that drain away. And I hope that in this new year with the new board, we can dream of creating that again.
Thank you
Thank you.
very much. I think we've all written down that quote that you just gave us. Thank you.
I'm just a test, what can I tell you? Evelyn Sockbauer, 43 Thunderhead Place. I was thinking about the whole issue, you know, the teachers want to have more input and the training and like the verbiage going back and forth. And I started thinking about how at Rempro Ridge they have the team of teachers who make decisions and do, you know, group things together, you know. And it's got me wondering whether instead of having dedicated supervisors, you know, dreaming, thinking out of the box, right? You know, structuring it differently so that you have a team of teachers working on the curriculum and they're the ones who are with the students in the classroom so they can see what works and what doesn't work. And, you know, theory is one thing, but it doesn't always work in the classroom. So it's just something to think about. Is there another way that it could be structured so that the teachers have more direct input onto what's actually happening in the classroom and that the kids aren't getting thrown to these, you know, I feel like, you know, how do you say it, when everybody jumps on the next bandwagon. And it lasts for 3 years, and then it's gone. And then you've got another fad. And, you know, everyday math to me was a fad, and like, I thought that was the worst thing that happened to my daughter. But, you know, having, you know, solid teacher input and a group effort as to what you're doing in the classroom and how it's affecting the kids.
We do that. Christine Zimmerman is fantastic about having teachers on board, and they do all work together collaboratively. So, well, yeah.
And also teachers are the ones who are actually writing the curriculum. Each page is written by teachers, not Christine Zimmerman.
Yeah.
Right, she oversees all of it.
So what's
But what
happening in
you're
the
saying
classroom
is exactly
is essentially created by the teachers themselves.
Okay, so it is in effect being done that way.
Yes, it is.
It's not a prescriptive curriculum that we're purchasing.
Just because, you know, we hear about, you know, the New Jersey Department of
Yes.
Education mandating this, mandating that, you know, like the graduation requirements. You know, why would you have an algebra test as a graduation requirement? Because my son took algebra at the middle school.
But that's a
Like-
state mandate,
That's the
those
state.
kinds
No,
of
I
things.
know, and that's what I'm saying is, you know, sometimes as a lay person or a civilian, you know, that line gets kind of murky as to, you know,
Blurred a little bit.
yeah, and how much control you guys have over what can be done, so.
Yeah. The mandated things, I would recommend you taking trips to Trenton. I know, it's not
I'll take
great,
my
it's not a
video
fun trip, it's
camera.
a
They
really
won't
good
like
drive,
it.
but that's where change will occur, is when we've got people going en masse to ask for change.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, I would like to, as far as the negotiations and what's happening. Excuse me? Committees overall, yes, for the Board of Ed. I'm going to be sending out a survey to see who is interested in what committees and who'd like to be on what committees, and you could just let me know, and then we'll make a decision as to who can be placed in committees. And as far as negotiations, I'd like to keep that committee intact if we could, just for consistency. So, Mr. Gallo, would you be willing to?
Yes.
Okay, and Mr. De Silva, would you also be willing to be on the negotiating committee? Thank you very much. I think in the essence of continuity, I think it's very, very important that we have you both there, so thank you. And I think we may need another person, so that's something down the road when I send out the committee requests. If anyone's interested in being on the negotiating committee, please let us know, let me know. Okay? Thank you very much.
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible, yes, because we really want to get this in place by Friday, hopefully. We'll have it in place by Friday for the negotiating committee at least. So if anyone's interested, you know, just let me know right away. Let's see what else. I think that is all that we have right now.
Yes, pretty much, except for, is this still on? If you look at the meeting dates that we just approved this evening, our next meeting is scheduled for January 25th. We are advertising that meeting for a 6 o'clock start time. And the reason that we are is so that the board can conduct its regular business at 6 o'clock and go through the agenda, and then we can follow that with interviews of candidates for our board position. If we do it beforehand, then we just may get bottled up. I don't want it to be a process where you don't have enough opportunity to be able to interview candidates, to discuss your candidates, and it is our hope after discussion in an executive session that the board will be able to choose a candidate so that we can go back to having a 9-member board.
And as I stated last year too, at the beginning of the year, if anyone has any comments or questions or issues that they'd like to have addressed, please feel free to pick up the phone, call me. You have my cell phone numbers, my email address. Call me and we can talk about whatever might be bothering you or you may be interested in. Thank you very much.
Sound good? 6 o'clock start.
Okay, 6 o'clock start. Thank you. Okay, may I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Wendrikowitz, Mr. Gallo, second. Adjourn. Thank you all.